This Etsy store has done over $1 million in revenue in less than 3 years. It's also done multiple six figures in profits. How do I know this? Well, it's because it's my own store. I'm documenting every single thing and strategy that I've used to get to where I am today. And the reason for that is mainly because there hasn't been a better time to start a print-on-demand store than today. The market is growing about 25% year on year, and it's projected to do about $39 billion in 2031. So if you fear that you missed the opportunity to do print on demand, there's no need to fear that. We're still in the infancy stages of print on demand. And the best part about it is that you can get started with about $20 and just a laptop. Print on demand works like this. First, we research what design and product we're gonna make. Then we create a simple design in Canva or something similar like that. After that, we create a great offer. We then publish the design on top of a blank image of a product onto a site like Etsy. Then when we get the sale, we connect that order to a print-on-demand provider in Printify. It's that easy. But now let's get into the nuances of it all. So the first thing that we got to do is base everything out of research. Printify started with these Printify insights some time ago now, but it's still kind of new. Like it's like a year old or something like that. So these are basically current stats from the last 90 days. The best thing to sell overall in print on demand, that's the most popular thing to sell, is t-shirts. We can always come with like the argument that it's super saturated, but that just means that people are buying it a lot. So it just gives us a proof of demand. What we will sell here is t-shirts. And the best thing about this is that if we just look at this chart here, this big box here accounts for apparel. So apparel overall is one of the almost, it's not 50%, but it's almost 50% of the total print on demand market. So apparel is huge and t-shirts is insanely huge. So we'll use that. But there's one main perk that we want to use now as we start, because Printify has express delivery on 2 t-shirts here. What this basically does is that they can ship this out within 2 to 3 business days. It's good to account for some lag, so maybe like 5 business days could be a good buffer to have to promise your shirts within. But they basically offer a couple of these shirts. They basically offer the Gildan 5000 and the Bella 3001. We will mainly focus on the Bella 3001, and they offer this with their express delivery option. What this basically does is that they choose one provider in the whole network that they have, and then they choose the one that's closest to the customer, and then that print-on-demand provider will fulfill the order and ship it out to them. And then I think they also have like AI quality checks and stuff like that. But basically, you can promise orders within, at minimum, like 2 to 3 business days, that it will be delivered within 2 to 3 business days. Apart from that, it's good to have some buffer for lag, as I mentioned. So I'd promise this maybe within like 5 business days. So since we have that now, we basically now know, based on Printify insights and the data, that we're gonna sell t-shirts. One of the biggest variables to actually get sales is how quick can someone get it. So that's why we're only gonna offer this with their express delivery option, and only on the specific colors that you can basically order with express delivery. Now, the second part, that's basically research. So the first thing that we're gonna do is just search for, there are different ways we can do this. Previously, in this video right here, I've gone over how to do niche research, and you basically want a master list. Based on this master list, you can then just go one by one, and you can get the biggest ROI for your time by using the master list, which I talk about here. But there's another way too to do research when we research design, and that's just to go to Etsy here, go to the filters. Since I live in Sweden, I gotta filter this so to make sure that it ships to the US, since that's my target market. We then apply the physical items filter and the star seller filter, and then we swap out star for best here. So we only see the best sellers for a given niche, like this. Now we only see the best sellers for t-shirts. Let's see here. What we wanna find here now is common denominators within the design that we can then put on a best-selling elements list. Let's do, for instance, animal lover gifts, physical items, star seller. What I mainly focus on, that's the easiest to make, as I don't see this as a creative endeavor. I see these mainly as a business. So I want to find simple designs that I can easily like take inspiration from. I don't want to make super technical designs. So let's see here if we can find any. Let's just go back to t-shirt again, and let's see here. Okay, so common denominators within listings is what we want to see. Okay, so this is a huge keyword, but one thing that I've seen 3 of here is that this one, it has a cursive font. This one has a cursive font. And this one has a cursive font. So one of the elements will be the cursive font. And obviously these two are trademarked, so never ever do anything trademarked, as that will eventually get your whole shop shut down. So this is copyright of Kendrick Lamar. Never do anything with anyone's likeness. And this is obviously trademarked because of friends, so never do that either. This one is also cursive, just to prove that it's still cursive is doing very, very well. One thing that I'm seeing, this one has kind of a block font, big block font, but distressed, but still a big block font. This is kind of a block font. This one is definitely a block font. So let's just write down block font. Okay, usually we want more elements, but to keep this video not too long, we will keep it with these two different elements. A cursive font and a block font. Now we know which product to sell. Now we also know what to put on the specific t-shirts. So what to design. What we then will do is head into Canva here. We'll make a new design. And I always use 4500 by 5400 since that's the dimensions that Amazon uses. So it works very well for Etsy too. Then we gotta head to create a Fabrica and we need a cursive font. Create Fabrica is the place where I always get all my fonts and my elements and stuff. There's a link in the description if you want to use that. This signature one looks really good. I already have this, so I will use that. Apart from that, we also need a block font. Let's see here, something like that. We'll take this one, and it's important that we have a commercial users license, otherwise we can't use it. So we have that, which is great. And you need Canva Pro to import specific fonts. Let's see here. Perfect. One niche that I know is super popular this year, especially because of this year, is election shirts. I've gone through that previously on my channel, but if we just gauge the demand here, again, we filter this, ship to the US. The reason for this is that it's such a huge and important year politically. Political shirts selling super well. Whether you're left or right doesn't really matter. So you can sell both Trump shirts and Kamala shirts, and it works, and you can do a lot of sales with this. We use Everbee here to just gauge the demand, to just fast track this. We want something that's been listed quite soon. This is perfect. Let's firstly see here if this is trademarked. So I go to Flying Research for this. There's a link in the description for that too. It doesn't cost anything. You can just sign up and use the trademark search for free. But we gotta see this to make sure that it isn't actually trademarked. It isn't, so we'll use this. This is perfect. So this specific listing has been listed in 2 months and done already 500 sales, which is huge. So we'll use that to add value to this specific niche, because we found that the block font and the cursive font together are two different elements that can sell really well on its own, but together they can definitely sell well too. And we can combine this with this. So let's do it like this. And then let's use the signature font that's also in Creative Fabrica. There's also another font that I've used a lot that's called the Chica font. This specific font, so we can use that too. So we'll use that instead. This one looks a bit weird with this. So let's just use Chica. Yes, perfect. Maybe a bit. Let's use upload the bold one. This looks better. Now we have added value to the specific niche by using two different fonts that works very well on their own, but we combine them in a new way to create something new to the platform. And we don't see any other type of design like this. All of these look really similar, which basically shows us that we can stand out in the market and add value to the niche itself. So this is what we'll use. Election shirts, we can just call this. Okay, we need a white one and the black one. So, and we always use off-whites. So either like this, F5, 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 or FE, 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 like this. The reason for this is that if we only use the standard FFFFF, they don't print an underbase to that, as the underbase is an FFFFF. They can't print the same color on that. So, but if you use an off-white, they have to print an underbase and then put the off-white on top of it. On darker garments, this gives us a much clearer and better print. Now we have the design itself. Now we gotta mock it up. What basically entails in this part 2 is that we actually have to create an offer. And the offer should consist of mainly 3 things. it's the thumbnail, it's the guarantee, and it's the size chart. If we just look again at we go back to just t-shirt here. We go back here, physical items, sort this, so star seller. We want to find a type of mockup that's been used a lot, so we can use the exact same one ourselves. So let's say that we do a comfort colors like shirt, for instance. This is perfect. Like this one has the exact same mockup that we can then find on Etsy. So these are like two different sellers, but with the exact same mockup with two different designs on them in two different niches. What proves here is that this exact mockup sells very well. So to not make this video super long, I've done this in a previous video. You can watch that here if you want to see like how to find mockups and stuff like that. But basically we want to find common denominators within mockups. And if I was to sell a comfort colors mockup, a comfort color shirt, then I would basically go and use this one. I think this is the yam color. Yes, it's right here, this exact one. I would basically just use this specific mockup as my main thumbnail. To speed up the process a bit, I already have a mockup that I'll use. Firstly, before we do that, we will create a new design. With the mockups, I recommend using square ones. I usually use 3000 by 3000. Then we add this into here. So this would be, if this, for instance, would be like the proven mockup that we find, we would then basically just put the design like this on top of the shirt. Now, we need two more images just to display our whole offer. We gotta make this 80% opacity so it looks a bit more real, and then we download it as a JPEG. What we then do is that we need to display our offer and our guarantee. Let's go back here. Let's add a design. Okay, so what we then do is let's take this one, for instance, and then do it like this. So with this specific image here, we want to display our guarantee, as a guarantee is a huge thing and a really important thing to get sales today on Etsy. So we'll do it like this, and let's make a better color. Let's take, for instance, something like, in real time, we would obviously spend more time with this to make it look more professional, but this is like the basic outline of it. This would be our guarantee. This would be the second part of the listing. This should basically just say that if there's any issues or anything like that, you can contact within like 7 days. Something like this basically is what we want to convey here. So this would be our second image, also a PNG, also a JPEG. And the third image should be a size chart. So basically something like this. And it's the Vela 3001. And we should download something like this or something like this and use that as our size chart within the listing so that they can know the sizing of it. So we can just buy this straight off a store here on Etsy. And now we would have our 3 specific listing images. Now, if you haven't published any listings on Etsy before, what you would need to do is to just go here basically into Printify, go to products, search for the Vela 3001, and then choose manually, and then basically start designing. And then you would basically upload the design that you have. You would upload that by just dragging it on top of here. And then you would apply all of the different colors you want. And like, for instance, for this one, you would press this button to make sure that you display like that you only use like the light design on top of the dark garment. And you would do this for every single like shirt that you want. Now, the important thing to know is that for the Velas, it's the black, white, navy, dark gray heather, and athletic heather. So black, white, athletic heather, dark gray heather, and navy. Yeah, so the 5 colors basically. We only enable those, is what we do. We can do it like this, and then do it like this. Then we save it. And it's really important to name things properly so we can easily find stuff later on. So we can just write election template. And what we then would do is, I haven't connected this test account to my store, but then what we then would do is just press publish here, and then it would pop up as into our store, and then we would edit it further there. Instead of that, what I basically do here, that's a much more efficient way to do this in my opinion, is to just take a listing here that, like a t-shirt listing, like I have here. You press copy, and then what you do is that you just basically erase all of the things here, all of the pictures, and then you just add the guarantee and the main thumbnail. If you bought the size chart, that one would be there too. So what you would do here is add the photos. So would you first delete the photos, and then you would do this, add this one here, and then you would add this one here. And if you purchase the size chart, that one would basically then be the third image, given them basically that you are a new seller and haven't done that many sales. But if you have some sales, it's always easier to just copy all the settings from a listing that you already made, and then just apply the new images and just change the SEO. To just change the SEO, we can just take this, and then we can just use the search bar here, and then do election. 2024 is a huge one, 2024 shirt. And then political shirt is a great one. Political t-shirts is also pops up here, even though Everbee doesn't really follow here, but yeah, if it pops up there. So we'll just use this basically as our main title. When it comes to the tags, let's see here, we just erase all of these, and then we would basically just use, let's see what they have. Let's do it like this, copy this into here. We don't sell sweatshirts. I don't know what this is. What I'm a big preacher of is just simplifying stuff. What I would basically use here, a lot of these are kind of weird. Let's just take our title here, and then just go into notes, and then we just take election shirts. Now we have the SEO done. It doesn't have to be any harder than that. It's super simple. Just keeping it simple is what I always preach and what I always believe in. All the different settings is not something I would be able to go into this specific video, as it would be way too long. That's basically how you would publish it to Etsy. For the last piece of the puzzle, I would use a break-even strategy to launch my listings. That is just to list it at a lower price. I go through the specifics of that in this video right here. But apart from that, there's a second part to it that is really important to know too. And that's that I would use an Etsy ads strategy as well. So I would just toggle my Etsy ads on, spend $10 on the listing itself. If it hasn't achieved my break-even ROAS by that time, I would just take that off. If you want to learn more about Etsy ads and the specifics about Etsy ads, you can watch this video right here. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.